How's it going, Aqua? This is Lauren from Etheric Tide. We've got your 2021 reading for January. Let's have a look at the energies that are going to be coming through for you for love, career, in general. This is just to see the types of energies you'll be dealing with. Maybe some advice. And, oh, the Fool really wanted to come out. That's a good thing. Let's see if he wants to come out. These are general in nature. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And sometimes your moon or your rising sign might be more appropriate. So make sure to check out those too. So let's see what we've got for you. Okay. Chariot. Oof. The Chariot is momentum, but it's momentum in two different directions. The Chariot has become my cognitive dissonance card. I just noticed them in my readings when it's coming up. And for those of you that don't know what cognitive dissonance is, it's when our brain holds two opposing thoughts simultaneously, and it's like we're holding the thought and the opposite of that thought, and it's difficult to distinguish which one is the truth. And it can come out in all sorts of ways. So for Aquarians that are experiencing this cognitive dissonance, either within a relationship or perhaps coming to reconciling within themselves, if you're going on a bit of a healing journey, it could be that you're remembering things from your past that at the time you couldn't see it for what it was, or you were interpreting it differently. Like your body was noticing it, that this was happening, but you couldn't cognitively understand it. So it's kind of like, this is when, for example, just as an example, so you can fully understand this concept. If you're in a relationship and you're witnessing a behavior, or your partner is saying something to you, and if you had heard that thing being said to your friend, and you didn't know that other person, you didn't care about the other person that your friend is in relationship with, so there's no emotional bond there. If you heard your friend say what had been said to you, you'd be like, whoa, no, that's not okay. Get the hell out, get away from that person. That behavior is not okay. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve to be treated that way. This is not okay. However, you're in this relationship and you're hearing that same thing being said to you, and for some reason you rationalize it or you interpret it differently. That is cognitive dissonance. You don't want to believe. You don't want to believe what is being presented to you. Oh, and look who's shown up. The Star. Did sort of come in the reverse, but are we denying, Aqua? Are you denying aspects of yourself? Are you keeping your true self at bay and refusing to allow yourself to shine, for yourself to come to the surface. I think that a lot of Aquas have had a pretty difficult couple of years. 2018 was a tough year for Aquariuses in particular. Huge upheavals. Huge ending of relationships. For those of you who are involved with Aquarius, it may have been like a really tough ride for them. So be patient, because it's sometimes like Aquarians have a very tough exterior and they know how to cope and they know how to function. Like they're, even though they're going through something that might be particularly painful and emotional, they really know how to keep functioning through that. So sometimes the people closest to them don't even know that they're suffering. So I think that going into 2021, a lot of that is probably going to clear for you. I think that a lot of that grief, that pain that you've been holding on to is finally going to be shifting. And I think that like that, those two opposing thoughts, that cognitive dissonance is going to finally release its grip, and you're not going to be so stuck in your head, and you're finally going to be able to find who you are, find the truth of what happened to you, or what's happening inside of you. Find the truth of why it all happened. Who was at fault? What was the reality? You know, I think that Aquarians really care about the why and the truth of things. They really care about what did I do? What did they do? Who's at fault here? What can I do to fix this or change this? Or how do I kind of feel like Aquas are feeling like they've lost a little piece of themselves. And yeah, that's it. Okay. So we've got ourselves the Hermit and the Two of Cups here. I think that a lot of Aquarians have had to go hermit mode and do a lot of this on their own, because they probably feel like the people around them aren't quite going to understand what's going on with you internally. And I mean, you're still functioning, you're still going to work, you're still doing what needs to be done. And as Aquarians do, they know how to, they're highly functioning, you know, even though emotionally underneath they might be having a really tough time. I don't think that it's the time to necessarily be sharing with every person what's going on with you. It's almost like as you go into January, you haven't fully figured out what you're going to do yet. You haven't fully realized how the things of the past or the things that you've experienced over the last couple of years, you haven't fully realized how significant it is and how it's affected you and how that's going to change who you are moving forward. It's like when you're diving into the past, you may flip and flop between who you think you are. And because you're not quite finished doing your healing yet, if you share with like your closest friends or family, if you share too early, it's not going to be a good representation of who you actually are yet, if that makes sense. You kind of need to go, like, you can still work with a professional and what have you if you really need somebody to talk to and bounce your thought process off. But it's kind of like if someone catches you mid-process, and during that mid-process you're talking about this and you're talking about it in that way, it's not your final form. It's the process that you need to go through in order to get to the final form, and it may not look the same as who you're presenting yourself as. So I'm basically saying that you do have to keep a lot of what's going on with you to yourself. And I mean, Aquarians are kind of used to doing that. And you're quietly going to be working on what it all means. What it means for you, what it means for your future, what it means for your sense of identity. Sometimes when we go through quite painful things, including relationships or family struggles and what have you, when we come out the other side of it, sometimes we may struggle with an identity crisis. We will ask ourselves who we actually are. And the more that we kind of process through what happened to us, we may decide that we're something different depending on what part of the process we're in. But it might not actually be who we are. I think that 2021 is probably going to I know it sounds painful, but once you're through this, the amount of abundance and love and like nourishment that you're going to receive is going to far outweigh anything that you ever thought that you would experience. I think that there's a big opportunity for you to have union, have like someone who actually is going to show up for you and love you for who you are and be seen. And I think for January, for the moment, all the plans that you have, all the thoughts you have about yourself and what happened to you and the people that are involved, I'm not sure whether that's going to show up in the end video, but it completely glitched. So just reiterating that fact of just don't share it. Don't share what's going on for you for the moment until you're sure, until you're ready. And if you have plans on what you want to do with like your business or career change or the way the way you want to approach a relationship, it might be different to everyone else. And people may not understand. So you've got to go through the process and be really sure of yourself when you're ready. And you don't need to declare to the world necessarily that that's what you're doing. Just do it. So, hope that's helped, Aqua. If you would like to receive a personal reading, details are down below. If you liked this reading and would like to see more of them, subscribe. And of course, I really enjoy any comments and likes that you'd like to give. So thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.